Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having us here today. I am Steve Black, and with Jason Blanker as the co-chair, we are here to present the Operational Official Task Force requested by our chairman, Kevin Kelly. This task force met weekly by webcast, the better part of a year to address the charges the officers sent forth to us. The officer team is committed to securing the future of the association from both a participation and funding perspective. To this end, the task force was charged with exploring the following questions. Number one, how does NAHB make participation and supporting the National Association operation compelling and rewarding? Number two, how can the association further streamline the time and resources necessary to support the operation and the organization? Number three, how should NAHB balance the potential of streamlining leadership model with the goals of engaging future leaders? We had quite an engaging team in this process. We generated and discussed nearly 100 tactics, tools, with an eye towards addressing this significant charge. After months of discussion and review, we focused in on 28 tactics, and we feel best positioned for the association and for the future success. The tactics fall into three key areas: engaging younger members, identifying future leaders, and meeting efficiencies. In a moment, I am going to turn over the podium to Jason to review these recommendations that we focused on. Before I do, I want to remind you all that the results and the efforts are posted on nahb.org with the board material prior to this session. A summary of the team's recommendation are at your seats today as well. At the request of Senior Officer and Oversight Ed Brady, who also serves at the oversight of the NAHB Budget Committee, the task force recommendations regarding meeting efficiencies were shared with the Budget Committee in advance of this report today. A key recommendation in this area calls for reducing the required number of board meetings from 3 to 2. Jason will share with you the details of this recommendation in a few minutes. What I want to reinforce is that our efforts as a task force explored well more than this one element, all of which seeks to position the association and our industry for a prosperous future with young professionals among the team at the helm of NAHB. Jason not only served the association in the capacity of co-chair of this task force, he has also chairs the Building Systems Council and happens to be one of those young professionals in our industry. With that being said, let me turn over to my co-chair, Jason. Thank you. Jason?
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. As Steve shared, it's been an honor working with this task force. I applaud Chairman Kelly and his officer team for recognizing that this association must act now if we want to secure the participation of industry professionals for the future. Let me first share with you how I became involved on this task force. As a part of the 2014 leadership team, I was invited to participate in an orientation session at IBS. Chairman Kelly was sharing with all of us that securing the future of our association and participation from members such as me was a chief concern for the year ahead. I immediately did what many of my friends and colleagues do, and after not finding him on Twitter, I sent him a text message telling him that I would be happy to help work on this. And then I waited. Something I and those within my age bracket are not accustomed to doing. After all, I sent him a text message. Was there an immediate response? Not even a little LOL or a smiley face emoticon? No. Now, clearly the task force came, as did my opportunity to serve on it. However, not in the time frame or through the tools which I am accustomed to using within my business life. Word came of the effort in the same way that NAHB always has done. If we are to secure the participation of younger industry members, we're going to have to address the priorities of this association differently. I do applaud the task force for recognizing that a change in operations is necessary and for conducting all of our business via webcast. Committing the time to review the materials and participate in active, thoughtful discussion was demanding. However, committing this time for my office in sensible blocks of time without sacrificing my time and my money to travel to meetings was tremendous and allowed us to participate fully. The first focus of the task force was how to engage younger members. Today's young professionals are pressed by ever more demanding schedules, both professionally and personally. Balancing an ever-increasing work-life priority against home life priority are key concern for me and my peers. We will engage, but only if participation is meaningful and made easy. NAHB's membership is aging. The 2014 member census reports that the median age of our members is now 56, up from 52 as recently as 2008. We all recognize the significant benefit that long-tenured members provide the organization. However, we too recognize that we need to encourage younger members now if we are going to have tenured members in the future. Part of getting anyone involved in the National Association, but particularly the younger member, is letting them know what's in it for me. We all understand that and try to do that through pieces like this. And they're great and should be continued to reinforce the value of our dues dollars, but they really don't speak to why I should be engaged in this association. Explain to members what's in it for me and why I should be involved. Once we determined what needed to be said, we needed to figure out how we're going to say it. And blast emails and meeting updates are helpful, but not getting the attention we need from any of our members in this day of information overload. That being the case, the NAHB needs to work with our members, particularly those in this targeted age bracket, to determine how they want to be communicated with within the Federation at all levels. Though we believe this new website will offer the association a lot of opportunities, focus must continue to be paid to this critical communication effort. You want to secure the participation of members in their 40s at the national level? Let's try to hook them at the local and even student level well before that. NAHB has a powerful opportunity to do just that through leveraging the talent we already have within the student chapters. The task force has noted a variety of recommendations focused on growing participation in and in recognition of the student chapter program. Yes, we need to recruit more talented young professionals to this industry and this association. We also need to invite the ones we already know to actively participate now. Sometimes all it takes is an invitation to let somebody know that their talents and participation is very welcome. Whether an active student chapter member, a 40 or under 40 award winner, or a young newcomer at the local level, these professionals may simply be awaiting your indication to come and join our party. The task force reports a variety of ways such invites could be delivered. The task force was focused on securing the future of the Federation, not simply the National Association. This being the case, once successful strategies are identified and implemented for the above recommendations, and the many others we will not have the time to touch on today, they will be shared with all the Federation family. Likewise, sharing successful tools and techniques utilized at the local level with the Federation will certainly assist all in addressing the challenge more efficiently. Once we have these members invited and attending, we need to explore ways to further grow their participation and prepare them for future leadership opportunities. The task force agreed that one of the best ways to prepare someone for leadership role at the national level is to toss them into action at home. We've identified a variety of strategies designed to put the leadership and the governance of this association, in some cases, into the field. The task force suggested implementing the following: leadership roadshows, regional leadership conferences, as well as area caucuses in the field. All of these strategies put national leaders in the field engaging and collaborating with leaders at local and state level. These opportunities will allow the National Association to identify the leaders of tomorrow in the activities of the association today. Once identified, it is important to provide these members meaningful participation options at the national level. One way this can be accomplished is committing a number of appointments on each committee for members within this age group. The talents of this younger leadership team, coupled with the skills and the experience of our more tenured members, will certainly provide the Federation with a winning strategy for success now and into the future. Then encouraging these leadership teams to take advantage of the opportunities they have to meet virtually and further their priorities outside the standing board schedule would assist in making participation easier and even more rewarding. There is no question that NAHB has a long history of furthering the housing industry as led by us, the members. In an effort to continue this tradition, the task force is proposing a number of operational meeting changes. We recognize and appreciate the time, the money, and the commitment that directors readily take to share with the association. However, in recent years, we have all been challenged with the time and energy meaningful participation in the board requires. Those of us who serve the association on subcommittee, committee, council boards, and executive boards spend days and days away from our business and our families. We do receive a great deal of value from our member colleagues, and the reports and information that we share here the first time we read it in advance of the meeting or hear it in an early meeting session. In an effort to make the time spent here even more valuable, the task force recommends streamlining the NAHB board meetings. First and foremost, all meetings should be focusing and engaging. Reports should be provided in advance and would not be read to the participants during the meeting. Reports should only be shared with the body that requires action. The same updates should not be provided to the committees, the executive board, caucuses, and the board. Rather, they would be presented to only the board. Briefings and activities which can be handled virtually in advance of the board meeting should be. This will allow for in-person meetings to be focused on interactive discussions identifying new issues. With regular committees and council interaction virtually and the goal of creating more dynamic board meeting, the task force recommends requiring only 2 NAHB board meetings per year. Our recommendation includes a meeting strategy which would efficiently support the operations and the governance of this association. Specifically, this strategy includes an annual board meeting in January and February held in conjunction with the International Builder Show. At that time, the annual meeting of the members would provide the board for review and ratification of the operating budget. We would propose an executive board meeting sometime in March or April, and this would be a virtual meeting that would address any emerging issues before the association. We would also propose a mid-year board meeting in May or June that would alternate in years between Washington, D.C. and a location outside of Washington, D.C. When the meeting is in D.C., the association would hold the meeting in conjunction with LegCon, if possible, and when the session is out of D.C., it would be held with LegCon in the field, as we did with Bring Housing Home. We would also propose an executive board meeting to be held in July or August, again a virtual meeting to address any emerging association issues. We would also recommend that an executive board be held in October or November as an in-person meeting for the purpose of reviewing and moving forward an operating budget for the association. As Steve mentioned earlier, the Budget Committee has reviewed this proposal and is in support of moving it forward with funding 2 board meetings as part of the 2015 budget. This modification is anticipated to save the association $300,000 in the coming year and over $800,000 in the future. Our initial report estimated the savings of around $168,000 based on direct contract details. The Budget Committee was able to identify additional savings. A bylaw amendment is formalizing this proposal will be reviewed and discussed later in today's meeting. The Budget Committee circulated this amendment with the majority of the task force voting to join in sponsorship of this amendment. I want to thank you for your time today to review the summary of the results of our efforts. I would also like to thank all those members of the task force for their efforts. Steve, do you have any other thoughts?
Excuse me. Yes, Jason, I do. As you can see, Jason reads off of his iPad. I bring my notes. There is a difference in the way different generations do business. And it has been a joy to work with a younger member of the association. I thank Jason as one of the young targeted members of our task force and his summary today. I do applaud the officers for this charge of this task force for the review and our team of members for the work that they did to identifying ways in which we could secure the future of NAHB by engaging younger members. However, I want to note that even a long-tenured member such as myself see a great deal of value in the recommendations made by this task force. Our time is valuable, and I am also looking to spend time committed to rewarding meaningful efforts. Though targeted to engage members of the future, I would like to think that members now, such as myself, would benefit greatly from these modifications as well. Before closing, Jason and I want to extend a note of sincere thanks to the task force members for their time that they committed to the talent and a great deal to this endeavor. We are proud of the final report and the many recommendations it contains in this report. It is our understanding that the senior officer leadership will continue to review and implement these recommendations as possible in the future. We thank them and you again for this opportunity today to serve NAHB. Should you wish to discuss any of our recommendations further, see any of the task force members after this meeting. This concludes our report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.